My apologies for the delay, but I wanted to make sure everything was ready to go. So, okay, we're starting with a little bit of butter. This is about 6 tablespoons of butter. We're going to pop this in the microwave to start melting it. Okay. And oh, this tripod's going a little bit wonky. That looks a little bit better. Okay, so today we're making s'mores Rice Krispie treats, and so we're starting with melting our butter, and then we're gonna add some marshmallows. And I'm doing a double batch, like a nice big amount of it today. So yeah, because I like to make it a little bit thicker when I make Rice Krispie treats. I'm grabbing my spatula. Let's grab our butter. And of course you can do this on the stove. I usually just go with the microwave to make it easier on myself. So we have our butter here. Give a little mix. I don't see any little pieces left. We're good to go with that. And then we're gonna dump all of our marshmallows in. And I'm using 2 10-ounce bags of marshmallows. This little clump doesn't want to come out. Okay. And next bag. Like I said, I'm making a nice big batch of this. Double batch. Okay. We're giving a little mix here to try our best to coat, the marshmallows with some butter. Okay, almost good to go. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. So we're gonna go and start melting this in the microwave. And I think I usually start with about 30 seconds to a minute. Hello, how are you today? Happy Monday. I hope you're having a great, couple hours start to the week. I'm gonna pop this in there. I think I'm gonna go about a minute. But then I also do kind of keep an eye on it to make sure that it's not kind of, like, when marshmallows are heated like that, they kind of expand, and I don't want it to go over the side of the bowl, so I kind of keep a little watchful eye on how it's going. In the meantime, I have my other bowl, and we're actually going to spray a little bit of Pam. I actually saw this from, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on, Bake My Day Mimo, and she uses Pam to help, or nonstick spray, to help make sure that when she's mixing things up with the Rice Krispie treats, that it doesn't really stick too much. And I was like, this is genius, and I've done it ever since. So I'm spraying my big mixing bowl here. I didn't spray my other one because it has the butter. It kind of already takes care of that. So, but I am doing this one. And then to this bowl, I'm going to add our Rice Krispie cereal, as well as Golden Graham cereal to make it s'mores. And like I said, I'm making a whole big old pan of this. So I'm using a whole box. I think it's the regular size box of Rice Krispie cereal. And then I'm using about 6 cups or so of the Golden Grahams. Okay, let's set that to the side until our mixture is ready. And then I think I saw some chat come in. Our day's going all right. Never actually went on live. Well, I thank you so much for joining my live today. It's a little bit different because I'm usually on Fridays. I switched it to today because it's my sister's birthday this week, and we have, you know, birthday festivities and fun activities this week. So I wanted to make sure that I still got a live in. Okay, we're gonna give this a mix and see how we're doing here. Started being a little bit melty, but not quite. Hello, what is the most complex recipe you've made? Thank you, Jonathan, for being on the live. Hello, and very good question. Most complex. I think actually one of the most recent ones, aside from macarons, because I have made macarons a lot before, but I still have not been able to perfect them not being hollow in the center. So that's one that I really want to get down because macarons are just finicky in their nature. But I think one of the most challenging ones I've made was recently with the Bake Fest that I attended in May. And I took one of the classes, and it was for a choux pastry class. And it wasn't necessarily like super difficult to make all the components, but to put everything together and get everything done, it was a lot of different tasks, I guess. And so it made it a little bit more complex, but it was really fun actually to be able to complete that whole thing. I'm going to pop this in the microwave again for another minute or so. But yeah, I think that would be one of the top ones that I've had, you know, some interesting difficulty with, but it was still really fun and I still got it to turn out. So, thank you for the question. Pop in the chat, make sure I haven't missed anything else. Okay, we're caught up. Okay, so we're just melting that down, and then for our chocolate component inside of the actual Rice Krispies themselves, I have some chocolate chips. This is probably about 3/4 cup or so. When I make Rice Krispies, I pretty much always use it as a way to use random things around that I have. So sometimes I'll throw in peanut butter M&Ms or some freeze-dried fruit. I actually tried that recently. It turned out really, really well. Yeah, I just kind of like to do random things with it, and I kind of switch up the increments. So yeah, I think I don't know, Rice Krispies are just really fun. I realized I've never done them for a live before, and especially with how warm this week is gonna get, it was like the perfect thing to make today. So we went from like a beautiful weekend to crazy heat coming this week. There we go. That's what we're talking about. Okay, and also Bake My Day Mimo also sometimes sprays her spatula. I forgot to do that. Sometimes the butter actually kind of takes care of that, makes it non-sticky with the marshmallow, but I think, we'll still make it work. Okay, I'm not seeing any chunks of marshmallow. We're looking really good. Okay, we can add this to this. And let me see if I can raise this up a little bit so you can see a little bit better. That's better. Okay, so we're gonna pour this straight on top of our cereal here. It is pretty hot, so be careful. Okay. Set you over here. And then we're just gonna mix all the way through. And I think I saw some stuff come in the chat, but it disappeared on me. Let me see. Oh, hello. I'm so excited that you joined the chat, and you said that your daughter is a big fan of s'mores. Yes, I was very excited because I wanted to make these for a while, so this is my first time actually making these ones. And then answer your question, do you support LGBTQ plus? Yes, I do. And then, oh man, that does sound tough, challenging. Yes, it was a bit tricky, but it was, like I said, it was like tricky and tough, but in a fun way, because it was, you know, trying something different, not something I typically make. I have experience making kind of different of those different components, but like putting them all together in one thing was definitely challenging. And I tried making, I think you pronounce it praline for the first time. That one was probably like one of the more challenging parts of it, which is really just roasting nuts and making a caramel and kind of pureeing it together. But it wasn't challenging, but it was kind of fun. Oops. Come here. I spilled some cereal. Should have probably grabbed even my bigger container, my bigger bowl to mix with this. Just trying to get it to mix all the way through. I just saw a message come in. I'm new to the cooking world, but I just started ordering HelloFresh for my dinner, and that's a task for me already. How is HelloFresh? Because I've heard a lot about it, but of course, with all the stuff that I make, I don't know that I would ever actually get it myself. But I've been kind of curious because I see a lot of ads and stuff like that, especially Mr. Ballin, who does kind of like dark and mysterious stories. He has been one of the sponsors for them before, or he's been sponsored by them before, I should say. It looks pretty good. The recipes look really interesting. There's like a little clump of marshmallow down here that's being stubborn. Go over there. Ah! And then while I'm mixing here, I'm hungry now. Yes, I was very excited about s'mores. I'm on a s'mores kick, if you might have noticed. But I have one of my friends in here is Frosted Life, and you should definitely go check her out. Her cakes and cookies are gorgeous. Especially the cookies. I still haven't even, I've tried sugar cookies once. I have patience for a lot of things, but I think that was one of the ones that I don't necessarily have the patience for. I think maybe if I had some time just to sit down and do it, I could probably do it, but I don't know that it's one of the ones I would enjoy as much as other stuff. But her cookies are just like perfection. Okay, we're almost done mixing this. And like I said, this is doubled, so that's why it's so much, because I like to make thicker ones and then just kind of cut them into smaller pieces. And I also use a slightly bigger pan, of course, to spread it out. So the little bits of Rice Krispies that do not want to get stuck. And then I'll make sure to put the basic ingredients. Rice Krispies are one of those few things that I don't necessarily do as accurately with like measuring. But I'll put down like the approximate amounts of everything that I put in, because it's pretty much like, you know, 2 bags of mini marshmallows, 10 ounces, and then a box of Rice Krispies, and there's pretty even measurements, but I'll pop it down below just to make sure if you guys want to make this yourself, then you can do either a double batch like this, or you could do a half batch, or technically a single batch, I guess. There's a little glob of marshmallow down there. Come on. You were hiding from me. Okay, I'm gonna call that good because we still have to add our mini chocolate chips, and it feels like it's cooled down a little bit. We of course don't want it to cool down completely because it's gonna be a pain in the butt to get into the pan. But let me keep cleaning up cereal over here, Jesus. Okay. Our mini marshmallow, or mini chocolate chips are going in. And I like mini chocolate chips because it doesn't overpower the rest of the flavors. It's just a nice little teeny tiny pop of chocolate in there. But then don't worry, this is not all the chocolate that's going to be going in there. We have some more that we're going to do for the topping. Mix.
That's funny, you have some more.
My mom is hilarious. At least they're all sticking together now and not shooting cereal out of the bowl. I am happy about that. Oh, come here. Just trying to get these all mixed in there. I might even add a little bit more mini chocolate chips in the future, but again, I was just kind of, sometimes I just do like cleaning out ingredients and throwing together a fun flavor profile of something with Rice Krispies. It's really easy to just switch up a few ingredients that you add to it and make something really cool. I've actually been trying, I think I mentioned earlier, like some freeze-dried fruit with Rice Krispies and chocolate, and it worked out beautifully. Okay, I'm gonna call this good. I think it's mixed pretty well. And if I keep mixing too much, then a little bit of residual heat could start to melt the chocolate, the mini chocolate chips a little bit too much. So I'm gonna grab my pan. Make sure there's no little crummies. And then I already have parchment paper down. And like I said, this is a little bit bigger. I'm not quite sure of the exact size of this, but it's a little bit bigger than a 9x13. So I always like to spray like a teeny bit of pan on here before putting the Rice Krispies down. Not too much, but just to make sure, it's like just pretty much me being extra cautious about it sticking. And while I pour this, I think I saw some stuff in the chat. Okay, so Jonathan says, I've never zested a lime, and my second to last dinner had me zesting, but didn't have a peeler. Then last dinner was chopping and mashing sweet potatoes, and didn't have any of that either. Yeah, that sounds like quite the conundrum. Did you use just like a fork to kind of mash it? What do you do with all of the food? I'll answer that question while I'm pouring this. That's a great question. So for me, pretty much like once in a while, I'll kind of sell to family and friends. like right after I make something, but typically it's often just given to people. So, you know, family, friends, neighbors, even when we go to pretty much anybody that we go see, we give stuff to our Starbucks baristas all the time, and our dentist, even when I go visit. I have a vet visit for my dog. I'll take them stuff sometimes. When we go to restaurants, we actually take stuff sometimes specifically for the wait staff. And yeah, it's a whole variety of kind of people that I give stuff to. So it's to the point now where it's like if I don't bring something for the wait staff when we go to a restaurant, then I feel weird because I'm like, I feel like I need to give you stuff. So I don't know, I'm just like seeing how much it makes their day sometimes is just really cool. I love the, you know, surprising, especially like our Starbucks baristas are always super nice. So seeing it kind of like, you know, their face light up and like, oh my gosh, you have treats today. So yeah, in condensing my answer to that question, it's really a lot of, the primary thing is giving it away to people who are both taste testers, but also again, just kind of, just a little surprise for them. Okay, so putting this and mashing it down. And then double checking, where am I in the chat? I'm still in my first box so far. It's going well. It's not cheap though. Yeah, I have heard that it's can be a bit pricey. Just a reminder, I'm still hungry. I wish there was like, you know, the like technology like where I can hand you guys things through the camera. Let's see, I'm looking for a low fat and sugar pudding. I make my pastry cream, which is basically like a pudding. I make that like the traditional way. So I do not have a recipe for you, unfortunately, but let me see. I do have a friend that has a YouTube channel called Bake Angel, and I don't know if she does low sugar stuff off the top of my head, but she does do vegan and gluten-free and all that kind of stuff. So she could have a recipe with that. I'm not quite sure. Not sure about the low fat, low sugar thing, but she does a few types of dietary specialty stuff. So if you want to go check out her page, like I said, especially for gluten-free and vegan baking, she makes a lot of really awesome stuff with that. Trying to get this to go down. So I always like to press it pretty well. Sometimes I'll actually take a food glove and press it down really hard. But it's especially getting a little bit tough because it is starting to set a bit. Still grabbing. Oh. The marshmallow is setting quick. I need to work faster. Okay, the bottom was like really stuck. It did not want to come out. little bit more. It wouldn't come out, and then this piece literally leapt out of the bowl. Okay. Continue pressing. I'm gonna see if I've missed anything from the chat. I use a spatula, but sadly I don't own a big knife or chopping, dicing, bulky, or just thick veggies. I wonder if you could find a good price on like a knife block or something, because that's knives are like one of the first things definitely to get. Like I have my cosmic knife set that I love because I love galaxy things. So yeah, definitely, especially even if it's just getting like a single like chef's knife, that's a super versatile tool. Come this way. I do gotcha. Wait. It went away. Okay, hold on. Corinne says, yum. Thank you. And then I want to make a blackberry crumble like the Peppa Pig. Huh. I've never seen Peppa. I've heard of Peppa Pig before, but blueberry, or what did you say? Blueberry, blackberry. Hold on, I'm going to went away again. Blackberry crumble sounds delicious. I keep liking blackberries more and more recently. Like I have never been a big I can't even talk. Monday morning. I've never been like super into using a lot of jam or anything like that. But I've been kind of getting into really liking blackberry jam on toast. So blackberry crumble sounds absolutely delicious. Okay, now I'm just attempting to smooth this out. So you can see that with the heat that was still there, the mini chocolate chips did definitely melt a bit more than intended, but the chocolate's in there, that's all that counts, so you get the flavor. I think I might have to get just a little bit more of I have some semi-sweet chocolate that I'm going to start to melt. But I think I want to get just a smidge more out of my bag before I put it in the microwave. Okay, this is a little more bumpy, a little less even than what I usually do, but because the marshmallow is really starting to set, I'm going to call this good. After I fix this little part. Flatten, darn you. Okay, I'm going to call that good. I'm going to set this over here so it's actively weighing. And we're going to grab a little bit more chocolate. Because it is such a big pan. Okay, so I have this bowl of semi-sweet chocolate chips. I'm gonna melt this in the microwave, starting with about 30 seconds or so. With chocolate, you definitely don't want to overheat it because it will burn and you have to toss it. There is no saving it. That's the time I wanted. Okay, so we're letting that melt. And hold on, I need to do a check so I could catch up. I do gotcha stuff. What does that mean? And then that looks so nice. So I put chocolate on top. Yes, we're on the same wavelength, Roberta. We're putting chocolate on top, and then we're also going to top it with some more golden grams, as well as you can do the mini marshmallows, but I'm going to do the little dehydrated mini marshmallows because I have them and I think they look cute. Okay, let's check on this chocolate. And I'm going to grab a little spatula. Where'd you go? Okay, so I can see a little bit of melting starting to happen, but definitely not anywhere near what I need it to be. So I'm going to get off of the spoon or spatula. Okay. I am going to pop this back in the microwave again for another 30 seconds or so. Okay, and we're checking the chat, make sure we can catch up. Is it hard? Are you talking about the Rice Krispies? They are very, very firm. You have the same tone as us. Like voice related? Like the tone of my voice sounds similar? Oh, checking the chocolate. Okay, starting to melt in better now. Oops, escapee. It's looking better, but definitely needs some more heat. But sometimes if you mix it a little bit longer, that heat will continue to transfer. So it already started to melt the other little chunks a little bit better. So I'm going to put this in there for 20 seconds because again, I don't want to risk it burning. Okay. Check in the chat. Oh, Roberta says, yes. You're in the UK. Hello. Hello from California is where I'm at. How's the weather over in the UK? I've always been kind of curious if it gets like really hot or if it's not too bad. I'm in a spot in Northern California that we get like all of the weather. And especially this summer has been very weird because it's been, 80, like weirdly nice at 80, mid 80 degrees Fahrenheit in that range. And then it's like every other week it goes really weirdly nice. And then the next week it is like, we're going to be in the mid to high 110s. It's been like 108, 109, all that kind of stuff. So it's been back and forth, back and forth. I want to just stick with one. But that's also why I love fall because it gets really nice and cool. Okay, so we're all melted. I'm going to spread this out. I'm going to work quickly because I want to make sure that this does not set before I can get my toppings on. While I'm spreading, double check in the chat. I spotted a greater zester peeler last night. I could have got the zester and peeler. How great you can find for... Yes, definitely. If you only have one knife, I always like a chef's knife and a paring knife. I feel like those are the ones I use most frequently. I don't use a bread knife as much. This might not... I thought this would be plenty of chocolate. Apparently not. But yeah, definitely, if you only get one to start, chef's knife for sure. Like I said, sometimes you can find like a nice deal on a set, which is always great. Okay, I need to melt some more chocolate. I don't think I need too much more. Let's see, I'm melting the rest of this little bag I got. Okay, and in the meantime, I'm checking that chat. Oh no, the ding in the background. Oh, that's the ring notification thingy. Sunny, a bit off, rain. Yes, getting hotter. See, I do miss the rain. But then again, when it rains too much, then taking my dog out is a very not always fun experience. Because she just kind of looks at me like, why are we out here right now? Like, you're the one that has to go. Hey, Mom. Mom. Could you get me some more semi-sweet, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. I'm starting to melt more semi-sweet, but it's not as thick as I want it to be. So we're gonna have to melt even more. You don't use milk chocolate. No. Please and thank you. Yes, so for chocolate wise, I'm using it's semi-sweet mini chocolate chips that were mixed into the actual Rice Krispies themselves. And then I'm melting semi-sweet for the top. You can definitely melt whatever chocolate you prefer, if it's milk chocolate or dark chocolate. Dark chocolate and semi-sweet are kind of closely related. Of course, dark is a little bit more bitter. I like either dark or semi-sweet are my go-tos. Milk chocolate's fine. I like it when it's paired with other stuff. Same thing with white chocolate. It's fine, but it's not my favorite. I'm a dark chocolate kind of gal for sure. Okay. Continuing with this little bit I got in the bowl. It's like a teeny tiny bit left in that little bag. But then my mom is being awesome and finding me some more.
Do you want to use some of this?
Sure.
How thick can those be? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Thank you, Mother dear. Okay. So I'm actually gonna start using some dark chocolate. We're laughing because we thought we ran out of it, but then she miraculously just found a bag. But that happens sometimes. Like I said, I do not mind dark chocolate at all. But it can take over stuff a little bit too much if you have too much of it, but I'm a dark chocolate fan all the way. So it's totally up to you how you want to make them and how deep of a chocolate flavor you're looking for. Okay, so I have another additional cup of dark chocolate because I severely underestimated the size of this pan. But that happens sometimes, especially, like I said, with Rice Krispie treats, I am much more casual about, the amount of ingredients. It's just kind of, it's a little closer to like when cooking, you don't necessarily always measure every little thing when you cook. And that's kind of how I feel about Rice Krispies. They're kind of fun. They're not very precise. Kind of like whatever you want to do. Choose your own adventure. This is that rest of the little bit of semi-sweet that I was melting. That doesn't have enough. It's like barely coating the top of this, and I want a little bit more. So I think the extra cup with dark chocolate is going to do the trick. Okay, let's check on our dark chocolate. Because this was straight from the freezer, I actually did a minute. And you can see the bottom just barely starting to melt. Still pretty solid. I'm gonna do in 45 seconds, I think. But again, it's always better to kind of underestimate the amount of time you need and have to cook it a little bit longer after mixing than cooking it for too long because of that burning. And also chocolate can be kind of pricey. You don't want to waste it either. Oh, catching up. I have an apartment, so I thought only needed steak knives, but now that I'm using this meal plan, definitely need one for sure. Yes, especially, I do like that meal plan idea because it is like, you know, kind of some fun recipes, and as long as you have some, from what it seems like, some nice basic kitchen equipment, then you can make some really cool stuff with it. Bunch of chocolate emojis. S'mores emoji. Yes, that would be fantastic. Can you post that to me? Sorry, Bertie, can you explain what you mean? While we're doing that, I'm going to check on the chocolate. Ooh, the bowl's getting hot. Getting a little mix here. Ooh. Okay, still not melting too much, but I'm gonna do 30 seconds because again, better to underestimate the amount of time you need when it comes to chocolate. And of course you could melt this over a double boiler on the stove, but it's so much faster with the microwave if you can ensure that you're not gonna burn it. Also, I get a little bit nervous when I do a bain marie or double boiler with chocolate because of the steam that's coming up and possibly, you know, risk getting some water in there. I know people do it all the time, but we're making now. Send it by post. Oh, I wish I could, but the chocolate would be so melted with how hot it is everywhere. Especially like this weekend coming up is going to be, for our area at least, it's like 106 on this, like 106 Fahrenheit this Saturday. So I'm going to be either in the shade or hopefully in a pool. Just because that's like the only way that you can actually function when it's that hot outside here. There's no baking going on those days. But I will provide the approximate ingredients in the either comment or description of the video after it gets posted. I didn't get a chance to update the one from Friday, so I will do that later as well with some of the recipe stuff I was talking about, and also the Fave Chef link. I haven't talked about that yet today. So, well, I think I want to do another 15 seconds on this. So I'm currently in an online competition. If you haven't seen my community tab talk about it, and it's called the Fave Chef competition, and the way that I progress through each round, if you will, because they cut off every Thursday, they cut more people from the competition. And so I am still in the competition. I'm really excited about that. They keep cutting every Thursday, and then as soon as it cuts off on Thursday, it immediately starts the next round of competition. So this past Thursday, it cut to the top 10, and then this coming Friday cuts the top 5. So, and it went, there's some really cool prizes that the top person wins, including a feature in Taste of Home magazine, as well as a live cooking experience with Carla Hall, who, if you don't know who she is a celebrity chef. And I first saw her on Top Chef, but then she also is on Food Network. She's done Worst Cooks. She also, one of my favorite things is she does the, this is nice and melted, I'm gonna pour it now. She does the Halloween baking championship as well as the holiday baking championship, and she gets really into them, and it's just really cool. So, and she also, I remember when she was on Top Chef, I didn't see it when it first aired, but I saw it like on a streaming service when I like finally saw what Top Chef was, and I had 10 or 12 seasons to watch. And I just loved how, positive she is, and she just seems like super sweet. So I was really excited when I saw that you get to possibly win a live cooking experience with Carla Hall. So if you can vote for me, that would be fantastic. I'll put the link either, like I said, in the comments or description of this video, as well as I'll make sure to update the one from Friday, because this weekend was crazy busy and I forgot to do that. So I'll make sure to update that. Make sure all these sides get completely coated. Okay, so it was about a cup of semi-sweet I used before, somewhere around there. So you need about 2 cups for this size of pan. Which again, I don't know the dimensions off the top of my head, but I'll measure it later and probably put that with the other information. This doesn't have to be perfect. But I don't want to waste the chocolate. That's gonna work. It's like, settle. Okay. Now we're going to add our toppings before obviously this has a chance to set. I'm gonna get my chocolate stuff out of the way. So I want to keep it somewhat tidy. And then let me make sure I haven't missed anybody from the chat. Thank you for the wonderful content. You're amazing. Oh, thank you so much, Jonathan. You're so sweet. And then, Monkey 10 says that their cat bit them. That's not good. Are you okay? That does not sound like a good start to the week. Okay, and now I'm gonna wash my hands really quick, and then I'm gonna put the toppings on real fast. Make sure my hands are nice and dry though, because I don't want any, obviously, moisture from my hands possibly getting into, especially the freeze-dried marshmallow bag. You got to keep those nice and dry. So let's do a little sprinkle of golden grams first for our graham cracker. And thank you all again for being here today. It was kind of, I wasn't sure if I was going to have anybody because I'm not used to doing it on Mondays. Just like a couple more. For anybody that's like, why are you using your hand, not with gloves? It's because I washed them thoroughly. And actually, sometimes when people have gloves on, they forget that you still need to act like it's basically your skin. Like the glove is not a magic barrier that automatically makes everything more like sterile, if you will. So as long as your hands are really nice and clean, then you're good. Of course, if you're doing this for like professional bakery or something like that, that's a whole different story. But if you're making this at home, you know, as long as you keep everything really nice and clean, you're good. Of course, I'm being super generous with these little marshmallow bits because they're so fun and cute. Some marshmallow over here. Okay, that's probably enough. I got a little bit excited with the marshmallow bits, but they're just so much fun. Right there. A couple more over here. All right. And then at this point, you can either leave it. Sometimes I'll make sure I kind of like move things around and kind of press them in a little bit just to make sure that they actually will stay once it's all set. Kind of just give like a little light press. Don't push down too hard, or else it's going to squish the chocolate. It's going to look funny. Okay. There are a few little marshmallow bits that didn't touch chocolate. Those are just going to fall off and you can just eat them or pop it back on there. But at this point, we're done. It's going to be put in the refrigerator covered with plastic wrap to allow it to set for as long as it needs to let the chocolate cool, because the base is pretty much ready to go because of how solid it was at a certain point, if you saw that. So I think that I'll probably keep it in there for like 2 hours or something like that, just to ensure that it's really all nice and solid. And then I'll cut it and I will post pictures later, either today, maybe tomorrow. But yeah, that's it for today. Let me check the chat, make sure I haven't missed anything else, but that's it for what we're doing today. I got a few things to catch up on here. Oh, your cat's just mean, oh. Looks freaking fab. Thank you so much. He's screaming free to let. Oh my God. Well, yeah, cats are kind of persistent when it comes to like, let me in. But I hope that the cat bite is not, you know, hurting too bad, and that you put some disinfectant or something on it to make sure that you're good to go. But I hope that works out better. I hope your cat is nicer to you. If there's any other questions before we get off the live for today, like I said, we're done with this for now. I'm not going to have you guys wait here while everything tries to kind of set in the fridge. I'll post pictures like I mentioned later. And what else? Of course, like I mentioned, the Fave Chef competition. It would be amazing if you guys can vote for me. You get one, I think a free vote every single day. And if you choose to, there's also, you can make a donation to, I believe it's the James Beard Foundation, that supports the restaurant industry. And that also gives me additional votes, but that's if you choose to. And yeah, that's all we got for today. And of course, more shorts videos, check out every single day, and new tutorial video will be coming soon. I released one last, what was it? It was either Wednesday or Thursday. All the days are blending together at this point. But it was for the like beach cupcakes with the cute little Teddy Grahams and everything. So make sure to go check that out, as well as Saturday's video was not technically a shorts video because it was over a minute long, but it shows how to cut a large cake. Because I had a ton of questions on the video where I made my mom's retirement dinner cake, and I made a video answering those questions. It was a little bit too long, but I didn't want to cut it down or speed up my voice to the point where I sounded like a chipmunk. So, yes, that one was on Saturday, but make sure to check it out if you're curious about how to cut a really weirdly tall cake. Check in the chat one more time. Goodbye. Oh, thank you so much, Roberta, for stopping by. I hope you have an awesome day. And let's see. That's all I see in the chat. Thank you guys again so much for joining today. I hope you have an awesome week ahead. And of course, our next live will be to our regularly scheduled time next Friday. I don't know what the date is off the top of my head, but I'll definitely post about that. Thanks again so much for joining, and I will see you very soon. Bye.